Hey guys, Dakota here, and today I wanted to have a discussion in this video. I'm not really showcasing anything. I just want to show my viewpoints on form and function in techwear. So if you're not already aware of what techwear is, there are videos out there that kind of explain this style and aesthetic. A few YouTube channels that come to mind that have some good videos are This Is Antoine has one, I believe, and then also Reggie from The Casual did a video, so I'll link that somewhere so you guys can check that out. But this is for people in the techwear community and people who identify with that term, and I think it's something that comes up a lot within the community. It's a discussion on how important form versus function is, you know, because ultimately the techwear at the end of the day is the marriage of, you know, form, function, combining, turning into techwear. And I see a lot of different points of views from different people in the community and what they think is either more important or, you know, how much of each one you need in order to have a piece be considered a techwear clothing item. And it's been like resonating with me for a while, so I've kind of formulated a few viewpoints on this subject. So first of all, I think that a lot of people in the community can agree that, like I said, it's the marriage of those two items. You know, it's functional clothing, but at the same time it is also fashionable in a sense. You can delve into a lot of the different aesthetics that exist in the techwear world, because it's not just what most people kind of think of as like the tech ninja, like futuristic look. There's a lot of other different styles that exist, and you guys are probably familiar with that meme, and it has like different archetypes of techwear. Since the idea of how much form or function you have when it comes to like a brand or a piece of clothing, it kind of boils down to a lot of the times the different categories of the different archetypes and styles that exist within techwear, whether it's murdered out or you know, hiker core or gray man aesthetic or things like that. Those are different kinds of styles, but something that is a part of all of it is it's a blend of both form and function. So on one end of the spectrum, if you are completely going for form, then that is purely just an aesthetic look, and if there is no regard to function at all, then you probably aren't really getting a techwear piece at all. You know, it might aesthetically look like some of the more militarized styles and technical garments that do exist and the aesthetics that are out there, but you see this a lot like on Instagram with a lot of the Chinese brand streetwear stores that are selling like techwear pants, and they're just like cotton cargos as if they're something you get at H&M. And it's important to, you know, recognize that there's people that submit a lot of content to the community, and I see a lot of things like people trying to get into techwear, and you know, they get kind of misguided on what exactly is techwear, and they might purchase something like that and then they post on the subreddit or somewhere on Instagram or Superfuture or something, and there's a lot of times that people in the community kind of like berate them and, you know, put them down because they don't necessarily know that it's not techwear, but you know, they're getting shit on because the content that they're providing is not necessarily like deemed appropriate. Even when you look at some of the most popular people on Instagram who have like the most coveted techwear fits, a lot of times they're also mixing in elements of other kinds of styles of clothing. They have garments that aren't technical at all. And I mean, on top of that, when you look at even all of the acronym shoes that have been released with Nike, they don't have any technical aspects to them. There's no weather protection. I mean, aside from basic shoe cushioning and protection, but any other kind of shoe does that, you know. There's other options that are much better for like a techwear type of shoe. However, a lot of times I think that, you know, shoes, they don't get hated on because people in the community like it, but at the same time, there's still other aspects of the fit that are shit on because the community doesn't deem it techwear, when it's kind of hypocritical when you kind of see those viewpoints. What I'm trying to get at here is that like it's not so black and white on what is and what isn't techwear. It's kind of like a spectrum, and it's kind of like fluid in a way, and there's different aesthetics you can fall into, and there's different things you can incorporate into your outfits that make it technical. And the point where you cross on the other end of the spectrum, where on one side you have people who aesthetically look like techwear, but there is nothing actual technical to the garment or the outfit that they're wearing, so there is no actual technical aspect to it. You have people who have like the uber function, high-end, super performance wear clothing, but at a point you reach like an excess of performance. I've seen a lot of people bring this up, that at what point does it kind of become like almost a joke that there's all these people who are fans of technical garments, and at the end of the day, are they really going outside and hiking and doing performance activities and, you know, really needing this? Where I think for the most part, a lot of people who are into techwear are people who are into fashion in general, and they like the aesthetic, obviously, but also I think they tend to live in cities where you need kind of weather protection. That's kind of like the general idea. A lot of the people are in the UK or in you know, Pacific Northwest or the East Coast, where there's a lot of like rain and snow and things like that, which is how I initially got into techwear, going to college in New York City, because it would rain and snow a lot. Acronym is the most coveted brand that exists, and they have extreme like forms of function. They research and get a lot of aspects of their silhouette and their pattern making and their production that's highly technical and has a lot of functional uses to them. But at the end of the day, things like a jacket sling and stuff like that are also aesthetic. So you have to acknowledge that, you know, with techwear, it's taking those technical garments and then transforming it into something that is aesthetically pleasing. So at the end of the day, it's kind of morphing it. And if it truly was about the function, which I see a lot of, like, I don't know what I'd categorize these people, but like purists or like super extreme gearheads get really specific about fabrics and brands and styles and things like that, and deeming or policing what is and what isn't techwear, when it's kind of a complex thing. At the end of the day, I think that, you know, you do reach a point where there's an excess of function, like I said, because, you know, who really needs a $2,000 jacket to protect them from the rain when you could just buy an umbrella? And on top of that, something that I've been realizing is that clothes in general, since the beginning of their conception, they were kind of formed in a way to represent or be kind of like technical garments, you know, because they're supposed to protect us from the sun and from weather and from cold and things like that. So in a way, almost every garment that exists, it has like form and function and comfort in mind. It's just a lot of times I think that techwear can accentuate that a lot better than other clothes. And you know, there is the aesthetic behind it that's associated with the word techwear. So people kind of fall into those archetypes and they really like to identify with those kinds of things. And there's like the whole commodity aspect of it, of collecting things and having like rare items and showing it off and things like that. It's like it's a hobbyist collector community on top of it being about functional clothing. Okay, so like I was saying, on one end you have people who just aren't wearing technical garments at all, but they're fitting into this look, or they're doing a mixture of technical and normal garments. And you know, that's also a part of techwear. You know, you can't necessarily have every single piece of item be super technical, experimental. The only brand that really comes to mind that has like this level of like research and experimentation throughout the years with technical garments and goods would probably be Stone Island. A close second would be Nike, just because they've been in the sportswear industry for so long. For me, I would have to say that I kind of have like a mixture. I try to get more vintage technical garments to mix with my clothes, because I mean, there's the high price point of a lot of techwear items, but also I just think it's interesting to do layering, and also to have unique pieces is important to me. And I think that aesthetically, if I were to like compare my style to a brand, I think Maharishi is a pretty cool brand, because they take a lot of military surplus and they upcycle it into a new garment, or they take inspiration from military clothes and they make pretty interesting, cool techwear, but it doesn't necessarily look like the Tech Ninja, because I'm not always trying to rep that look. It's kind of interesting because an excess of function a lot of times kind of is counterintuitive and makes it even less functional and more towards the end of the spectrum of just relying on aesthetics. For example, when you get a brand that has a bunch of extra straps that are completely useless, or pockets in really weird positions and sizes that don't make any sense, or when someone is maybe putting together an outfit where the garment pieces and their composition and everything doesn't really make sense for the kind of protection that they're looking for, just for sakes of being techwear or having that look. That is something that happens when you're on the other end of the spectrum of battling the eternal war that is form and function in the techwear world, you know? Like I said, before any of these like big brands that we see as techwear came around, before it was just kind of like performance wear, outerwear, activewear. It's kind of just clothes that you can do things in comfortably. And now that we have the marriage of the aesthetics. Of course, there's going to be a lot of mixture of other kinds of fashion things, because you get a lot of these fashion-centric people coming together within this community, and you also have a lot of the gearheads and activewear people, and there's like all kinds of people that are a part of it. I just wanted to share my view on what I think is the exact marriage of the form and function, and I kind of think that you need a mixture of both, and it really doesn't matter how much you choose one over the other, because so many people like different kinds of styles. But I think in order for a garment or an outfit to be considered tech wear and to fall under that community, it has to consider both. It can't simply omit the form and have just, you know, hiker core neon, you know, expedition clothes, because that is not deemed stylish or, you know, cool looking. And a lot of people try to justify their tech wear clothing for the function, but I think that's also silly, because it is about how it looks fashionably on top of the function. I hope that I was able to present some interesting ideas on the subject. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've seen a lot of different viewpoints in the community. I want to know what you guys think. Leave me a comment on what you guys think on the subject. What are your views on form versus function in tech wear? How you guys like to balance the two with your outfits and your looks. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay Gucci. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.